Hello and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug. And it is officially 1:06 on the West Coast on April 18th, 2025, a day that shall live in infamy as the day that those proud DOLO out warriors finally got what they want. I'm just going to go ahead, and I have work to do today, guys. So this is going to be short, but I wanted to hear what everybody has to say. I'm just going to go ahead and read this press release because I don't think everyone has read it. This is from about an hour ago now. LAFC head coach Steve Cherundolo announced today that he will step down from his position at the completion of the 2025 MLS season. Quote, "It is an honor to be the head coach of LAFC," Cherundolo said. "After much reflection and discussion with my family, we made the decision that at the end of this year, we will return to Germany. I love Los Angeles and LAFC, but this move is in the best interest of my family, even as it will ultimately take us away from a team, city, organization, and fan base that I am proud to represent. I am looking forward to continuing our work with our players, coaches, and staff to make 2025 a success as we keep fighting to win trophies." It goes on to say, Cherundolo, 46, has enjoyed unprecedented success with LAFC since he was hired in January of 2022 as the second head coach in club history. Cherundolo became the only coach in MLS to win the Supporters Shield and MLS Cup in his first season as head coach in 2022. He led LAFC to the 2024 US Open Cup and owns a sparkling. Ooh, that owns a sparkling. Someone got really fancy in their ChatGPT press release. Owns a sparkling 87 wins, 43 losses, and 26 draws, guiding the club to 3 major trophies and an appearance in 6 total finals. There's a lot more after that. But obviously, this is a day that many of you who comment have wanted for a while. And it's a day that a lot of people thought might have come in the future. I certainly don't think many of us thought it was coming today. And I have to tell you, based on the work that I was procrastinating doing, I certainly didn't think this was coming today. I think a couple things. I think I don't want to get ahead of ourselves and go too down the road of who the next coach will be. We're going to have literally, it's April, 6 months of us to talk about that. Let's talk about Steve Cherundolo for a second and this timing, right? Because I think the timing of this is maybe the most surprising part of it. We just had a show 2 weeks ago where Kirk from Counterpress came on, and he said, well, we talked about what we thought was the future for Steve Cherundolo with this club. Everybody agreed that he would end the season with LAFC. I made a joke answer that he would be fired this season. This, however, does not seem to be a firing. It wouldn't make sense for them to fire him and then let him remain for the rest of the season. If you were fired as head coach, you would leave that day. It also isn't ideal for a team to have a lame duck coach, because if you start skidding, why do the players have to listen to you? Do the other coaches buy into you? The fans and the internal staff have no reason to buy into you, right? It speaks to a lot of confidence to his the 2 players, like for him in the dressing room, that they're saying we can keep him on board through the end of the year. I think we do have to take, after reading this press release a few times, do have to take it at face value. His family wants to return to Germany, which is exactly what Vince said he thought would happen. He said his family's from Germany. His kids were born there. He will want to return, and he will announce that. This makes me wonder what Vince knows and when did he know it? Because he said he will make it on his own terms, even though it might be a mutual decision. Look, it's a weird situation. I think if you were to ask me to guess why this timing is happening this way, the school year ends in a month here in Los Angeles, some schools even sooner. His kids and family will probably be moving back to Germany before the end of the season as they get ready for the next school year. So my guess is his family would have left and there would have been a lot of questions about his place at the team. That would have been a weird transitional period for the team. This eliminates those questions and allows the team to have months to find a new coach as opposed to the very short window in between seasons. I do think it's obviously not ideal for this season, but it is maybe more ideal for finding the right coach for next season. So it's an interesting position to be in. Before we get into how that makes everyone feel, let's talk a little bit about Steve Cherundolo and what he did for this club, because people have been hating on him for a long time. And if this is his funeral day, it's time to maybe say a few nice things about the man before he goes away. We've only won 2 tournament-based trophies in our existence as a club. Both were under Steve Cherundolo. One was the MLS Cup, and one was the most important trophy in U.S. soccer history, the U.S. Open Cup, which we still have not been beaten for. You have to beat us if you want the trophy. I stand by that. He also won the Supporters Shield that first year. We've gotten to 6 finals. The biggest complaint fans had about Steve Cherundolo was that we would get to finals and lose. He had a 50% win rate in finals with 6 finals. That's a pretty good track record for a guy who's only been here for 3 years. Obviously, there was a large contingent of fans from the start who were unhappy with his hiring. That first year, people were not happy at all that he was hired. I think an international fan base like ours wants an international style coach a lot of the times. And so going U.S. national team like a former U.S. national team player and a guy who's never coached in a major league before isn't necessarily what people were excited about. He shut everyone up that first season. Since then, it has been diminishing returns, as Kirk pointed out on the show. Each season doing a little bit less well than the last. That said, we're only 8 games into this regular season, so it's awfully early in. It feels strange, though, that we will have a lame duck coach for can anyone think of a situation that is similar? Like, someone says it's like Vince leaving Hafo Sappho. It would be like if Vince was like, I'm moving to another. Well, no, would be fine. We'd be like, we're happy to have you continue on the podcast. It like the thing that makes no sense to me is, well, it makes sense from the press release standpoint. It's got to be so weird to be a player, right? And let's say you're not getting the playing time you want, or he's telling you to try something new. Why the fuck are you going to go try something new? You don't have to listen to this guy. Unless like, I mean, there might be a ton of respect for the guy in the locker room, and it is true that it's possible that we're making a bigger deal about this timing than it is, but it's just strange, right? This shit doesn't happen. Yeah. So that's my rant off the top. I believe that he probably. Well, the other thing I want to get ahead of too is that it's clear that the social media aspect of the Dolo Out campaign got to some aspects of his family in a way that was unhelpful. I thought a couple weeks ago that Steve Cherundolo's wife people were commenting on her Instagram. It turned out, no, she was commenting on the team's Instagram, complaining about people saying Dolo out, which, you know, I try to be as respectful of families as possible. Strange choice, but I've seen people write bad things about my wife's TV show, and I've gotten very angry online, and I've had to be reminded not to say something. So I get it. You want to be defensive of your family. But it's clear that that part of it got to them, but that's not going to get any better if you're a fucking head coach in a bigger league. So that's what's confusing to me. It's like I don't think the social media pressure really held a big part of this. I've already seen some people say that. It's possible it played a part. It's possible that he knew the writing was on the wall. I do believe him that he wanted to move back to Germany, and I bet his family was moving back this summer, and this gets ahead of some of those questions. And that is where we are. This is not at all what I thought I was going to be talking about today. I have real work to do. Despite what you may have heard on this podcast, I do have a job. Let me go through the comments because I kind of haven't been looking, and I'm going to ignore the ones I don't like. Congratulations, everyone. We did it. Also, this vertical thing, we haven't tried this out. Let me know what you guys think. Y'all ready for Wolf Ball? Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Josh Wolf. We could talk about Jim Curtin. I'm not fucking ready for that yet. Let's talk about Steve Cherundolo. Wilfred Nancy. I would love for Will. Suddenly, the East Coast journalists would start to hate Wilfred Nancy if he played here. Look, now, how do we steal Will Kuntz back? I mean, it is the excuse for the fan base goes away soon, right? People will start to get angry at new things. Losses happen with a club. I do think Steve Cherundolo has been a very winning coach. He won us a lot of trophies. I did not want him gone. I am sad that he is leaving. I know I don't represent a lot of the fan base. This is just a weird way to do it. I have takes. I'm not letting anyone call in today, Jeff. I have. This is going to be short. I refuse to let anyone call in. Talk on the Discord. I did think about this, Adam, that we posted a thing about Steve Cherundolo being on the hot seat, and suddenly this happens, and we've been the most pro Dolo people on the fucking planet. And this is what happens when you content farm, when you clickbait. Bad things happen. What do you guys think? I'm not in my studio. I'm locked out of where we normally record because my wife has my car today and I don't have a spare. So I'm recording from my house, which is rare. This might mean the French experiment is over. Well, what do you mean? I mean, Giroud was a John Thorrington signing, and Giroud definitely was over this year. Griezmann already is gone. Bouanga, his contract's still going on, but there's a world in which he might want to try something else soon. I don't know. But I mean, the French experiment died yesterday when Griezmann officially wasn't coming. House tour, get the fuck out of here. Are we back? Inter Miami fan, time and space. Thank you for being here. Carlos Vela as coach. That's something I love. Okay, hold on. Hear me out. You know who's available. Giorgio Chiellini's available. Giorgio Chiellini is available to work as head coach for LAFC. He could even start as an assistant apprentice for Steve Cherundolo for the rest of the season. Really learn the system and how he could improve upon it. Giorgio Chiellini, I don't know, guys. I know he loves his life in Italy, but he certainly seems to like the club. He FaceTimes in. Maybe that's the campaign we need to start. Hashtag hire Giorgio. No more hire Vince. Hashtag hire Giorgio. I mean, look, the guy's gonna be a coach. I love this. Now that I've talked myself into it, Giorgio head coach is exactly what I want. The Italian experiment. I mean, people love Giorgio. He could bring in players. I do think this is it'll be such an interesting experiment for the rest of the season. Like, if the team starts to falter, what the fuck happens, right? You're not going to buy in for a coach that is dead. We have to hope that the team turns it around. There's a chance we're playing in Club World Cup in just a few months with a coach that we know is already fired. That's crazy. The other possibility we have to believe is that it's possible that they told him he would be fired, and they said, you can say however you want to say, but this is our decision. We're going to fire you at the end of the year. That feels weird. Why would they do that? Wait till the end of the fucking year, right? Because he has no incentive to win trophies now. All the incentives are gone. This thing is so bizarre. Berhalter in. Tata Martina in. Look, this whole thing, I would have never guessed in a million years that this is what fucking happens. And I'm so curious what the behind the scenes are. I really do think the most likely scenario is that his family's moving in like a month or two, and people would have started asking questions or would have leaked out or whatever. but it's still so bizarre that he wouldn't step aside or that they wouldn't choose to do this at the end of a year. I don't know. It's a strange thing. Let me read a little bit more from the press release. This is from John Thorrington. Steve has been a tremendous leader from LAFC and has proven to be one of the top coaches in the league. John Thorrington has said, what he's achieved during his tenure speaks for itself, and we are extremely thankful for him and his continued dedication and hard work. We support his decision to focus on his family with this move at the end of the season. Look, this is true. We've all had to think about and balance our career versus family. His family is from Germany. It's what Vince, why is Vince always right? Vince is always right, everyone. And then Thorrington goes on to say, for the remainder of 2025, our goals have not changed. Yeah, I know that's still weird. That still doesn't make sense because put yourself in the mind of the players or the staff there. You don't have to listen to this guy anymore. We remain committed to winning trophies this season. This says the exact same thing. No better way to close this chapter than win another trophy. We could win Leagues Cup, we could win MLS Cup, and we can win Club World Cup, which, of course, I think we're going to win with now our lame duck, Steve Cherundolo. DOLO out one on a fucking Thursday at 1 p.m. What? This is from the owner. Oh, okay. No, in his second season at the helm in 2023, DOLO led LAFC to the final of the CONCACAF Champions League and MLS Cup, becoming the only MLS coach to reach both finals in the same calendar year. Again, an incredible accomplishment that everyone seems to ignore. And he's just the third coach in MLS history to lead a team to the MLS Cup finals in his first two seasons. He led us to number one seed in the Western Conference in 2024. He became the seventh fastest coach to reach 50 regular season wins. And his 58 regular season wins since the start of 2022 is the most in MLS during that span. He has the most regular season wins since he began being a coach. I want all of you fuckers to remember that when we get some shittier coach because we couldn't get Giorgio Chiellini. And this is the most dog caught the car situation because you couldn't stop being mean online. Again, I'm not saying that's what caused it, but it's fun to pretend like it is because that's the discourse, huh? And don't we all love discourse? A super chat, nut. Herrera in. Don't know anything about them. Someone else in the comments answer that for me. You know I'm not a soccer expert. I'm not going to speak to that. But thank you so much for your super chat, nut. Let's go back to some comments. I mean, it is certainly a turning point week for the club. I do wonder about the timing. Losing to Messi last week. Griezmann turning down the team this week. I wonder if the club is saying to the fans, I wonder if they said to Dolo, hey, do this week. We need to give the fans something. And a lot of them hate you. I am not one of them, but I get it. There was a rumble. I saw some people who had canceled their season tickets over the last couple of weeks. Dolo played a very boring style of soccer. It wasn't always boring, but it wasn't the most exciting. And I think that's what people disliked the most, right? They wanted to see us being more dynamic. They wanted to see us being more creative. And let's just be fair. This season has been ugly. Our team has played uncreative. Our best player hasn't showed up. All three of our DPs have barely existed this season. I do think it would have gotten a little bit better as the calendar year spaces out, but man, Landon Donovan in. What are we doing here? All of the suggestions, I blame Miss Bones. Yeah, they got mad about the Miss Bones sign. Welcome the Razov graphics. I would love Anton Razov. I think he's been great. He knows the system and the club. If he doesn't become our head coach, I bet he's going to be the coach somewhere else soon. So if we'd like to keep him, it's worth giving him a shot. I know a lot of people won't like him because he has been Dolo's assistant, but Dolo was also the head coach of the Las Vegas Lights very poorly before he won us an MLS Cup. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think Razov would be a great coach, especially in the interim. That's what is so weird. We had someone waiting. Dolo could leave now and let Razov be the interim coach. Everyone already knows him. The whole thing doesn't make sense to me. If you want to leave, leave. Or wait until the end of the season. Or do it at the beginning of this fucking season. Maybe the fire did get to the team. Maybe the fan dislike of Dolo really did get to the team. Maybe our content farmed clip that we posted really did get to the team and the family. It just doesn't feel... It feels so silly to do it this way. There's other ways to do it. You have an assistant coach that could fill in for you, and this doesn't become a problem. He certainly wasn't fired, right? They would have gotten rid of him. Someone at the club leaked to us exactly what happened. It's just so confusing to me. Vela head coach, Chiellini head coach, Curtin head coach, Nancy head coach. We want them all. LeBron. You know what? We should have a tournament style bracket over the next month. We're going to do a Coach Madness. And this is a great idea, actually. And we're going to have a poll on our Instagram. So follow our Instagram at instagram.com/happyfootsadfoot. And we're going to make a graphic. So send in now in the Discord, send in who you want to be our head coach. And we'll make a fucking bracket. And we'll see who the bracket decides the new LAFC head coach will be. And we'll let Ancelotti be in there. Why not? I mean, I see this comment here, right, from David Martinez. Here's my thing. Who cares if it's boring when it wins games and trophies? I realize we've been underwhelming, but Dolo isn't to blame for our best player struggling. I see it from both sides. I said this at the beginning of the year when we won a couple of those games. This isn't the most fun team to watch right now. And with attendance down for the club over the last little bit, and diehard fans starting to really grumble about the coach, I get it, maybe from a marketing perspective, that they want to play a more exciting version of soccer. But also, he is the most winning coach since he became a coach. He got us 6 finals, 3 trophies, U.S. Open Cup, Supporter Shield, and MLS Cup. 2 Western Conference finals. Number 1 seed last year. So even if it is boring, we win. But soccer isn't just about trophies, right? Being a fan of sports is also about, you have to cherish special moments. You're not going to win every season. You're almost always not going to win. And it's hard to cherish special moments in games when it's really boring. When it's really, really boring. So I can see it both ways. I think from a practical standpoint, winning solves everything. But not to be all platitudes. You're only as good as the last job you had. And that's true in Hollywood, and it's true here. And his last job was to finish off Messi. And let's just say Messi's still gooning. He was not finished off. We don't give a fuck about MLS Cup. Jay Gomez says, we don't give a fuck about MLS Cup. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to really read this from Jay Gomez, or Goms. Jay Goms. We don't give a fuck about MLS Cup, about US Open Cup, about Ligas Cup. We want the CONCACAF Champions Cup, something that Dolo Falias at twice. This is some moving the goalpost shit if I've ever seen it. I agree. I really want to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I do care about winning the MLS Cup, and I do care about winning the Supporter Shield and the Open. I want to win every cup. I agree that the biggest trophy we could win is the CONCACAF Champions Cup. You're not wrong. Clubs have existed as major clubs in Europe for a long time and not gotten close to winning a Champions League title. We've been to 2 finals of the Champions Cup. Both under Steve Cherundolo? No, one under Steve Cherundolo. It is worth saying that is extraordinary for a club. And we need to remember that in moments like this, which, a real inflection point as a club this week. I don't agree with this comment at all. I do really want to win Champions Cup. If you said to me at the beginning of this year, would you rather win MLS Cup or Champions Cup? I would say Champions Cup. If you would to say to me at the beginning of this year, would you rather win MLS Cup or any other trophy besides Champions Cup? Yeah. And I would say, if it means firing Dolo to get there, sure. If it means keeping Dolo to get there, sure. That's what I want to fucking win. I don't know, man. This comment is like real moving of the goalpost for me. Before we had ever won MLS Cup, it was like he can't win trophies. And then it was we can't win in finals. After we had just won in a final, and everyone was like, well, it was close. We still fucking won. And teams have it a lot harder than we've had it the last few years. And that's just true. We're the winningest team in the regular season since Steve Cherundolo has been hired. We are, without a doubt, the luckiest fan base, besides Miami, over the course, and maybe Columbus, over the course of 3 years. A lot of teams would trade anything to have what we had. So while I am also not happy about where we've been lately, I am also not happy. We are incredibly lucky to be fans of this team. I would much rather be us than 28 other teams. How many teams are there? 30? I would much rather be us than 28 other teams. And so anytime a decision like this is made to shake something up, you have to get a little bit worried. That said, I know a lot of people out there are very happy today. Greg Vanny in. That's a new one. Jay Gomes says, okay, I got a little more excited. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And I like when a man can change his mind, or woman. Jay can be either. But I appreciate that, because I think the sign of the strength of intellect is an ability to admit that maybe you've gone too far, or you can change your mind. A lot of comments, man. It's the middle of the day on a Thursday. What? You're all probably at work. I'm supposed to be working. I really hope people I owe things to don't know about this podcast. This is a great question. This boils down to it. Straw Hat Nate says, you think if any other coach filled that slot, we still win those trophies? I don't know. Bob Bradley filled that slot. Bob Bradley was a trusted coach in the United States. Bob Bradley got us close. He did not play a style of soccer that could. Okay. Vince isn't here to give you the actual X's and O's of this. Here's my feeling about it. He played a more high-flying version of soccer, something that I think people miss, right? That's fucking hard in a playoff system. And when you're going in the Champions Cup or MLS Cup or Open Cup or Leagues Cup, where you're playing in knockout games, it is hard to play high-flying soccer and get away with it for that many games in a row. Someone's going to steal one. And what Dolo did was bring some stability, right? He shored up our back line. We've had a really great defense since he came in. And our creativity and style suffered for it, but we were consistent, right? We were consistent. And in tournament style games, that's important. And I think it's probably why we got to 2 MLS Cups in a row. It's probably why we got to Champions Cup. Having a solid, consistent style of play and a couple of people who can finish really well is not a bad way to win games. It might be the least fun way to watch games, but you have to ask yourself what you're looking for as a fan, right? Do I want to watch an exciting game all the time where we lose sometimes, or do I want to win more frequently? And I think if a lot of people get what they want, we play a more creative style, we're not going to win we're not going to win as many games, but maybe we'll have some more fun. So I don't know if we would have won all those trophies. I think that's the $1 million question, and we're about to fucking find out. We're about to fucking, well, not about, in like 6 months, we're about to find out. Man. Tim Morgan says, now watch Dolo win every remaining trophy. Yeah, that'll be, I mean, maybe he's even more motivated now as a fuck you to the Dolo out people. Be like, okay, fuck it. Let's show him what we could do, boys. I mean, the players got to buy in, but I don't get a sense that he had lost the locker room. It certainly will be a lot easier to lose the locker room now. How many people will be Dolo comeback? Don't leave if we get MLS Cup this year. Look, it's certainly a thing we have to worry about. This team is talented. A lot of people think we're the best team in the West. we can get to the finals. Anything can fucking happen in one game. We know that. It's still hard. I don't know. It's just, you know why I love this? The more I think about it, it's so unprecedented in terms of drama. What the fuck is the rest of the season going to be? Steve just wants to grow the game. We're growing the game here at LAFC, and that's what it's all about. God, I want to know exactly what the thought process was about this and what discussions were had internally. If you work at the club and you want to leak something to me, I'll make sure I won't say it. I won't say what you say on the show. I just want to know. Okay, yes. I'll keep it from our listeners if you want to leak something to me. Fuck you, people tuning in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. We have done with DOLO more than some clubs have experienced in 20 years. That is true. And I think, again, that's why I keep saying this is the dog that caught the car, right? A lot of people wanted him gone. But this puts us in a weird position where it's time to fucking hold those people's feet to the fire when it's over. Because maybe if we were a little bit more hospitable to the guy, they wouldn't have wanted to move back to Germany so fast. Maybe not. But we didn't make it easy on the guy as a fan base. And I'm sure there would have been some fucking protests and signs would have started popping up soon. And, you know, we had the discussion on this show, even though we were approached Steve Cherundolo podcast. People have been upset with the guy for a long time. But I don't know. We're going to see. You can really fall into darkness with a worse coach. We've gotten lucky. Bruce Arena. People want Bruce Arena. I see. It's Friday. I keep saying Thursday, and I really got to do work then. The shit is due at the end of the week. This is bad. I spent the morning at the doctor's office in Beverly Hills where I learned I didn't tear my bicep. I just got a lump in my arm. I said, is it a tumor? He goes, we have no reason to think that. I was like, well, that's why I'm here. So if I die, you guys make sure my wife sues that doctor at Cedars-Sinai is what I'll say. It's Friday. Another super chat. All nut super chats. It's Friday, dog. The other thing is I took a bunch of Benadryl last night and didn't really sleep because I had this early doctor's appointment. I was trying to get to sleep early. Didn't work. So I took a second Benadryl. And I'm still fucking out of it. Never take Benadryl. It fucks up everything. You wake up and the coach is fired. Or, stepping down 6 months early. What the fuck is happening? Never has a preview pod been more outdated. Super chat from Ray. Thank you so much now for the super chat. Ray, thank you for the super chat. On Good Friday, the Lord blessed me with Dolo out. He is risen. Oh, no, Good Friday is when the Lord has died. Maybe on Sunday, Steve Cherundolo will return and he'll forgive us for our sins of wanting him out if we beg him enough. Steve has died. Steve was risen. Steve will come again. This is a fucking soccer podcast. Oh, man. Try beating your meat next time. Richard, it didn't work. Tim Morgan, they can't let him stay. They need to have a coach that could bring the players in to fit their style. I have a feeling we'll know before the year's up who the next coach is. Or at least they'll have someone lined up as they hire people in the summer. I wonder if that means Razov has an inside track. I wonder if that means Giorgio has an inside track. Something to really think about. They're going to have a good idea soon, right? The coach search is going to start right away. I mean, we have a great history with Vanni Sartini. He once sucked Steve Cherundolo's dick, so he might have an inside track. Who else has been fired? Mike Malone from the Denver Nuggets. He's free. Nut again with the super chat. Nut, come on. Are you sure you went to the doctor today? You might have gone to a Wendy's. You know, the wait was long enough that it would have been the longest wait in Wendy's history. I haven't been to Wendy's in a while. Used to love a fucking Frosty. But the spicy chicken sandwich has gone downhill. And I think it's okay that we all admit that. The quality has gone downhill with the spicy chicken sandwich. But I do like the spicy chicken nuggets. They have probably the second best fries. Gio Savarese. Can Travis start an LAFC cheerleader squad? I got working legs. Why am I tasked with doing that? This is enough. I'm in the middle of the day talking to you people. Someone else would love for us to have cheerleaders. Would be weird. That's fun. I like weird shit. Let me go back through some of these comments. Everyone wants Miss Bones to coach. I mean, worth a try. She's really good at manifesting herself onto the Jumbotron. Travis has flimsy biceps. Not true. Not true. Bicep reveal. Bicep reveal. Not true, Tim Morgan. How fucking dare you? Screen grab that. Screen grab that. Put it on No Context MLS. Get Eli Lesser to post about that. Huh? My theory is that No Context MLS is Eli Lesser's burner. That's a theory I have. Hire Vince. Not a bad idea. Now show the feet. Nope. I told you $10,000. I'll do it for $10,000. That's one that's like a vintage Rolex. I'll do it for a vintage Rolex. I'll send feet for a nice watch with box and papers. Ruben asks a very good point. Is Dolo out and Flipgate connected? Could Dolo have been the one to say no flipping? And Bawanga complained. And they said, we got to get rid of him. The people need the flip. We'll kill two birds with one stone. Okay, people are saying that my bicep was not a bicep. It was a tumor. That's not true. It's a muscle. The tumor is much smaller, and I'll send a photo to anyone who gets me a vintage watch with box and papers. Eli has bigger biceps. Fuck off. I love Eli, but no, he doesn't. I'll fight him for charity. We know that we've run out of things to talk about when I'm saying I'm going to fight Eli Lesser, who's wonderful. I love Eli Lesser. Our fans are mean to him online, and he's the nicest person on the planet. Is JT in the hot seat? Give it a day. Give it a day before we fire someone else, everyone. You people are maddening. We're going to get, let's get Palenka, and maybe he can convince Messi to send, or Miami to send us Messi. Nico's going to be out of a job. Maybe we can get Nico at the end of this year. Is JT out next? What are you people talking about? We just fired the coach. I mean, yes, Giroud hasn't worked out, but Bale would. There's still a chance that Giroud scores with a header in the finals, and we don't care about him not working. Bale was a big fucking flop until he wasn't, right? I think Thornton has proven himself to be, yes, he'll take a risk on some of these larger names. And in some cases, they work with like Giorgio Chiellini or Carlos Vela. In some cases, they don't, like Bale and Giroud. But he's proven that he can find really unknown talent like Matty Bogusz and Kiki Oliveira and Diego Rossi and Chicho Arango and a bunch of players. I guess Nathan Rodaz's academy, but a bunch of players, Igor Jesus, Marlon, these guys who we know and trust that were not on anyone's radar. Palencia. We focus so much on the big signings and those not working. I do not think Thornton's on the hot seat. I think almost every MLS team would kill for John Thornton. I agree it has been an underwhelming year, but that's rare for him, and you don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I think John Thornton, while the man is short, he's not short on ideas, and I'll say that from my heart. JT just made a decision you like. That happened today. Yeah, exactly. Everyone cool the fuck up. Do we just want to fire everyone? You people would be terrible managers. You would be terrible at like owning a soccer team. All of you. Is Chiellini a realistic possibility to coach? He's more realistic than some of these names people are saying. He's got a connection to the fucking team. He obviously would be a good coach. I bet he wants to coach. It's a higher level than I'm sure he could get of coaching anywhere else. He knows the league and the team. I think he would be a fantastic coach. I would be ecstatic for Giorgio Chiellini to come back. I mean, I just want him around. He creates, he has an aura. We've been talking about leadership. He creates that he gets rid of that leadership vacuum. He has an aura. People just respect the guy. That's who that he's now my number one choice. Is him or Vanny Sartini. Ali out. I could say Ali is also on the hot seat. I think that's not a bad point. Ali is really, I mean, Ali and the Nepo baby Falconer have not been working well together. I think he's got to find his own bird, or the Nepo baby's got to go back. I feel so bad calling him Nepo baby, but if it was Hollywood, that's what we would be saying. And just because it's a Falconer, we like that it's a family business. You don't get mad when your plumber's a family business, but heaven forbid Larry David's daughter wants to act, huh? Justice for Kazi. I haven't had to do this all on my own before. It's hard on the voice. Judas out is what I would say here on Good Friday. Judas, we thought he was on our side, really let us down in the end. Judas out. Christ definitely out here on Good Friday. Not our choice, but he chose to step down. Team security Paul out. Yeah, let's fire everyone. Let's move to Vegas. We're moving the team to Vegas. Galaxy would fucking love that. Finally win their city back. Jordan Harvey, again, not a bad idea. Still working with the club. I don't think the fans would love it. I don't think he shares the same aura. I think fans, if you're going to go internal, would rather Razov than Jordan Harvey. But I think Jordan Harvey, people really love him internally. I've never met him. I know Vince knows and really likes Jordan Harvey. I think, there's always a chance they go internal. Fan pressure does make a big difference. They're going to know people will want a big signing. People were really upset about the Dolo signing, and he ended up really positive for the club, whether or not you believe that over the last few months. USL in, yeah. San Diego in, sure. Nobody wants Razov. He's our current attacking coordinator. Our attack sucks. Yeah, but you have to listen to Steve Cherundolo, right? And if Steve Cherundolo wants to play a style, I doubt Razov is playing the exact way he would play if he was the coach. That it always happens. An assistant comes in and they change a lot out. You just listen to what the head coach says and you execute it to the best of your ability. It's not like it's not like he's Rex Ryan as the defensive coordinator where he just does everything, right? Or Sean McVay delegating half of his job. That's not how this works. There's still one man in charge. And so Razov, I'm sure, would have new things that he would implement. He certainly would be more attacking minded. But I don't know. This was in response to Razov versus Jordan Harvey. I don't know. I think people are going to start saying very outlandish names for our head coach very soon. So just gear up for it. I hope LAFC's social media team is up to the task. Razov is a soccer terrorist. Razov is a soccer terrorist. What the fuck? Who are you people? I'm terrified of you. I'm terrified for the day you all turn on me. Every time I defended Steve Cherundolo on here, I was scared for my life. If we're going to be internal, then it's Giorgio. I mean, would Giorgio want it? Let's just make Hollingshead our head coach. I mean, sure. None of us know these people. Any other clipping this? Razov needs to sue Daniel for defamation. Travis is a soccer terrorist is closer to true. Send me to El Salvador. No, we should not be sending any American citizens to El Salvador without due process, or ever, even with due process. Fucking insane. Not going to go there. Don't worry, Tim. I'm not going to go there. Look, we are at a real turning point for our club and our season. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, this will be a day that all of us remember as fans of this club. This is going to be what's Wayne Rooney up to? I don't think you want Wayne Rooney as your coach, man. Sure, give it. You're just saying names we all know. I don't know. A lot of people got what they wanted today, and it's time to see what happens when the dog catches the car. Time to see what the fuck happens, right? I'm so curious to see how the team reacts to this, because there's a real chance at implosion. And when there's an implosion after something like this, the outlet for the fans would be the coach. And that outlet is gone. And who do they then start screaming at? They're already mad at JT, even though I think that's crazy. Dolo is the winningest coach since 2022 in the regular season. He's won us 3 trophies. I just think maybe now that we've all gotten what we want, all of us who really wanted it so much, we got what we wanted. It might be time to just dial it back just a little bit, right? And remember that you usually don't win the championship. Things have been decent. Not just decent, things have been good since Dolo's been our coach. They haven't been perfect, but they've been good. And I just want to remind everyone that a lot of you got what you wanted, and we should maybe tone it down just a little bit. 4th of the way through the season. We have 3/4 of the season left with a lame duck coach, which I can't get the fuck over. Still deeply confusing. But as I said at the beginning of the show, my guess is his family's moving back sooner and it would have leaked out, right? So if I want you to remember anything from today, Dolo out, is that you guys are going to be crazy no matter what. I can't control it. The sooner we learn that we can't control the madness that is all of you, the better. I just have to sort of ride the wave. I also want you to remember that I have a giant bicep, and that's something that a lot of people don't know, and you all know that, and that's another reason that this will live in infamy. And I haven't even worked out all week because I thought my bicep was torn. So think of me with a full pump. Imagine what that's like, everyone. God, can you even imagine? And that's what today's all about. Kurt Rambis would be a great coach. Jesus Christ, uproar. Coming at my Knicks fandom with the deepest cut possible. The assistant coach I hated more than anyone. Kurt Rambis. Jesus Christ. I don't know, man. I'm going to end with 2 comments here before we leave. Miguel Serrano says, I want to be on the record that I didn't want this, and replacing him will be harder than we think. And Alan Hernandez says, I'm a miss Dolo out. He's not going to miss Dolo. He's going to miss people saying Dolo out. Travis's itty bitty bicep out. Your third leg got a pump too. Again, hog reveal. If you send me, I'll give a hog reveal for a higher end Rolex or a higher end watch than Rolex. I'll do a hog reveal for an AP with boxing papers. I need it's got to be a Royal Oak. Okay, let's be serious. But we're not going cheaper than 20, 30K for hog reveal. Let's just be straight. All right, the Dolo out. Everyone, before we go, I want you to leave one last Dolo out in the chat. Spam that chat with Dolo out. You guys got us here. You motherfuckers made your bed. You motherfuckers got to live in it. You motherfuckers spam that chat one more time. You got what you wanted. It's not what I wanted. It's not what all of us wanted, but it's what the loudest all of you wanted. Hit me with the Dolo out in the chat. We'll be back tomorrow during our post game, where I'm sure we'll hear more from me and Darren about this. Vince won't be here for the post game. Thanks for hanging out midday on a Thursday. Friday. God damn it. Look, Dolo literally out. Dolo literally out. Chat out. I can't believe it happened. I can't believe it happened. You fuckers manifested this. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. He won so many games. You're going to regret it. You're going to eat your fucking words. I love you. Bye.